Good morning. This is John Hauser from my YouTube channel, Free Advice, and here's my here's my big mug, Grumpy Old Toad. My oldest daughter got this for me just very recently, and when we were out in Texas to visit her, we were in Texas for I guess it was about 10 days total. Had a great time. Just had a great time. So what I'm going to talk about this morning is something that I think is really important, and that is how to improve your relationship with your spouse. Now, my wife and I are both going to be 76 this year. I recently made a video and I forgot how old we were, and I misquoted. I said we're going to be 75, but we're going to be 76 this year. And I still think there's room for improvement in our relationship. I think I'm going to have fun with this one. This may actually turn into a couple of videos because I wrote out 22 different points of things that I thought were semi-important. So there's going to be a little humor injected into this one. And I'm really having a great time with this YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel January 1 of this year, and I am still learning, and it seems like I'm learning something new every day, every week. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. But we're going to talk about this husband and wife. Husband and wife, I've got my notes here in front of me. Boop. I can't let you see my notes because that'd be like cheating. You'd know in advance what I'm about to say. Of course, you can do that by going down there and reading the transcript. Let's see here. Husband and wife find joy together in retirement after age 75. We are now going on 76. Now, fortunately, we're both in relatively good health. In 2023, in November 2023, it was November the 9th, my wife had a major heart attack and almost lost her. She spent several days in the hospital. She got a free helicopter ride. They put her in a helicopter and took her to UNC at Chapel Hill, and they took very good care of her. And she has made a remarkable recovery. In addition to that, she's had shoulder surgery and she's had a full knee replacement. But she just keeps on bouncing back. She's like the Energizer bunny. And she just keeps on going and going. And we've been married a lot of years. It's really nice to have your own bunny in the house, if you know what I mean. So I'm in a rather humorous mood this morning. Anyhow, I want to talk about some things that that will help improve anybody's relationship, and these are things that we have to work on all the time. There's a lot in the Bible, in Scripture, about husbands love your wives, about the wives being submissive. In the book of Proverbs, it talks about if a man finds a good wife, he has found a good thing. And there, of course, is the thing joke, which I won't tell that. You may already know it. But there's a lot in Scripture and there's a lot in life. And I've seen many, many, many married couples over the years, including us, have some self-imposed marital problems that can most times be resolved with just some conversation and some understanding. But I'm going to talk about some of the things that will help you and help us to find joy in our married life, and we're past age 75. Now, who knows how long this story is going to go on. The story began many, many years ago when I was in the military. I was stationed at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock, Texas, and I met my wife in Lubbock, Texas, actually in a little town called Tahoka, Texas, and it was a long time ago. And that's when the story began. The story began in West Texas, and who knows where the story is going to end, but we're going to try and make it a great story. I don't know if you've seen that movie, The Notebook. I can't watch that movie. I watched that movie and it's like, oh no, That's going to be us. We'll be like the Notebook. My wife insisted that I watch that movie, so I sat down with her one night and watched it. And at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, this is depressing. See, because I'm also a person that writes everything down. I've got stacks and stacks of journals. I write all the stuff down. Anyhow, let me move on into my points here. Some of the things that we have, some of the things that we do to create joy in our life, and I almost forgot something. As married couples, even though we're over the age of 75, you've got to work to improve your relationship. You can't stop improving your relationship. I see so many people, so many seniors that are our age, maybe a little younger, a little older, but they qualify as seniors, that have forgot that you've got to improve and work on your relationship. Once you get married, you have the great joy of getting married, and you have the wonderful honeymoon, which for us, the honeymoon, we just had an apartment because we didn't have any money all those years ago. I still don't have a lot, but we got each other, right? You still have to work on improving your relationship. You still have to work on improving your relationship because the kids are gone. We have 3 grown children. Our oldest daughter will be 56 this year. We have 2 grandchildren that are grown and out on their own. The oldest grandson will be 31 this year. So, it's pretty much just us. And to make this a happy us, it requires constant improvement, constant working on it. So, let me talk about some things here. All right, space. The final frontier, right? No, let me get a drink here. Nothing strong in that jug. I live in North Carolina, and they were famous for moonshine, but it's not in that jug. I am a Christian. I know it's hard to believe. I go to church. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't chew. I don't run with those who do. The old slogan there. Space. One thing that I discovered after I retired was that we had to allow each other space. Before we retired, and we were living in North Raleigh, I had a job that required me to get up early, go out early. I was a outside salesperson, and we lived in Raleigh, but many of my appointments would be at 9 o'clock in Fayetteville. So I would have to be leaving my house at 7:15 to 7:30 to be somewhere in Fayetteville by 9 o'clock to do presentations and appointments. I was a commissioned salesperson. My wife was a nurse, and she was working 3rd shift, and she would be coming home. And many times she would be coming home, and I would be going to work, and we would pass each other on Capitol Boulevard. At that time, she had this little blue sporty car, and I could see her on Capitol Boulevard. I was driving a van, and she'd be coming this way, and I'd be going this way, and we'd wave at each other. And she would go home and go to sleep, and she would sleep in the daytime because she was a night nurse. And then I would come home late in the day, I'd have some supper, and she'd go to work. And somehow, even in that crazy schedule, we did manage to squeeze in some time and go out and take walks. She had a rotating schedule, but it was a very hectic schedule, and we didn't see a lot of each other. Then we retired. I was 68 years old when we retired. My wife actually retired several months before that. But then when we retired, all of a sudden, there we are, and we have lots of time together. I mean, all of a sudden, it's like, uh-oh, too much time together. So we had to learn to adjust to that. We had to learn to adjust from not seeing each other very often to seeing each other all the time. And that was in 2018 when we retired. It has been 8 years. just about. In a few days, it'll be 8 years since I retired. Now, here's some of the things that we discovered. I'm probably going to have to do a couple of videos to make this work. But some of the things that we discovered was that Susan likes to have her own space. Since it's just the two of us, we took one of the bedrooms in the house and moved out the bedroom furniture, sold that bedroom furniture. I mean, two people living in a house, do you really need 3 sets of bedroom furniture? You know, when the kids come visit, they usually come visit one at a time, so we do have a guest bedroom. But we took one of those rooms and set it up as an office for Susan. She has a combination craft and office. This allows her to work on her diamond art, which she's actually an artist. It allows her to practice her clarinet. It allows her to have her own computer, and she can go online. She does the bookkeeping and, you know, all those kind of things. But it gives her her own space. Now, I have my own space in the garage. I spend a lot of time in the garage. As a matter of fact, this little room I'm sitting in right now is in my garage, and you can see I have lots of books out here. I have lots of books. I'm kind of a book nut. Then I have some photos on the wall and different art, you know, things that I've collected. But I spend a lot of time in the garage. I'm not actually in the garage. We have the garage, and then it has this room attached to the garage, which I converted to my office. It's actually pretty good size. And in this room, I have a TV, I have my computer, I have books, I have tools, I have exercise equipment. Here's one of my pieces of exercise equipment right here. It's an exercise bike. There it is right there. I have all kinds of things out here, which allows me to have space where I can do my stuff. So Susan's at one end of the house in her office / crafts room, and I'm at the other end of the house in my garage. So one of the things that helps give us joy in retirement is that we're allowing each other to have space. Space. I love to say that, space, the final frontier. You know, I grew up in the 1960s when I was a teenager. That's when that show first came on with Captain Kirk talking about space, the final frontier. So Susan loves to have her own space. This gives her joy, it gives her happiness. At the same time, we spend a lot of good time together. I think it was either Thursday or Friday of last week, we went out and took a walk, and that walk lasted an hour and a half. We went down to our lake. They have a nice trail that goes around the lake. It's partially paved, partially gravel. We take our little puppy along, and we did a walk. It lasted an hour and a half, and in that hour and a half, we talk about everything, and we solve all the problems in the world and all the problems in our life by taking those walks. Now, again, we're both 75 going on 76. We both have some very minor health issues that we have to look after. I've got some, Susan's got some, but by and large, we're in pretty good health. And even though I don't walk as good as I used to walk, we still go out there and walk for an hour and a half. That gives us joy. We're talking about having joy with your wife, with your spouse in retirement. You need to spend good quality time together. And that's one of the things we do. All right. So granting each other space and time. And believe it or not, on these notes, I have 22 points. If you stick with me for all 22 points, that in itself will be a miracle. As I talked about, I have my spare room in here in the office, which all my exercise equipment and my computer and my books and all that stuff. Now, this past Saturday morning, Susan and a close friend, her name is Carla, went to a ladies' luncheon. Now, we are Christians. We go to church. We're very active in our church. And Susan has a close friend. Her name is Holly. And her husband is pastor of a church in Enfield. And Enfield is a small town in eastern North Carolina. It's about 45 minutes from here. So Susan and Carla drove to Enfield to a ladies' luncheon at Tabernacle Baptist in Enfield. And if you happen to live in that part of the state, that's Tabernacle Baptist in Enfield, North Carolina. Great little church. The pastor, his name is Todd Lewis. He does a wonderful job. He's just does a wonderful job. But anyhow, they went to this ladies' luncheon, and at this little church, they had about 60 ladies show up for lunch. And Susan and Carla had a great time. She told me about several other ladies that she knew that also arrived there at this luncheon. They all sat together, just had a great time. Giving each other time and space to do things adds joy to your retirement. Okay, let's see what else here. Susan likes to play her clarinet. Susan plays the clarinet in the orchestra in our church, and she'll rehearse here at home, and sometimes it's just very nice to hear that clarinet music. Susan likes some things that I will say very carefully, because I don't want to talk about anything that's too intimate, but Susan loves a good back rub. Sometimes we sit down to watch an old movie. She likes a back rub while watching these old movies. Sometimes her feet hurt, and I will, if she asks me, I'll rub her feet. It makes her feel good. Probably enough on that topic. We had to learn to get it. Oh yeah, that's right. We had to learn after we retired, we had to learn to get used to seeing each other all the time. And as I said earlier, I'd be going to work, she'd be coming home. So this also happened when our youngest daughter moved out. When our youngest daughter moved out, now that was 25 years ago. 25 years ago, our youngest daughter went off and started a career. And at that time, we had different schedules. And our youngest daughter left, and one night we're sitting at the dining room table, Susan and myself, and all of a sudden it's just the two of us. Because the youngest daughter, when she was home, she kept the conversation going all the time. But when that youngest daughter left, and that was 25 years ago, when she left, we were looking at each other like, what do we do now? What do we talk about? So over the years, we've had to do this a couple of times. We've had to a couple of times really just get to know each other again. So I'm going to stop this for right now, and I'm going to do a part 2 on this video, and hopefully you'll watch part 2. This is John Hauser with my channel, free advice from 76 years. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and help my channel out.